We have Kevin Hart right on after you.
That motherfucker owe me some money.
Actually? Oh, we're gonna tell him.
Tell him he owe me $1 because I bet him that he was gonna end up being more friends with Rock than me.
No way.
After he did one movie and his groupie is over there with the Rock.
This is ridiculous.
That's what he said. He said
ridiculous. Who are you talking about? Cube is one of my best friends in the business.
I want it all in pennies too. Who killed Tupac and Biggie? You know, I think both of these dudes were assassinated in some kind of way. More Biggie than Tupac. I think Tupac might got killed by a dude that they you know, had an incident with earlier that day. But Biggie's seems a little
JFK.
governmental. I don't take those crazy chances because I got generations depending on me. Got to take that responsibility serious because you never know when others in my family, bloodline, or whatever are going to be able to have the opportunities that I have.
Reading interviews between you, it's unclear. Like, do you get on set, or do you genuinely kind of annoy each other?
Best friend.
Okay.
Say it. Say it. Come on, man. Say it. We in the UK. Say it. Let them know how you feel. Best friend touch. Come on, man. Come on, man. There it is. Yeah, my best friend.
But didn't he steal your catchphrase?
He always steals everything. You know, when people see me, they be like, yo, Q, yeah.
Hey. Do it. Good. I'm not going to say that.
So I say, hey, Q, yeah.
Hey.
That's so weak. It has no flavor to it.
We're best friends.
there's a conspiracy theory online involving Suge Knight.
Oh yeah, what's that?
There was this interview done with Suge when he talked about how you got to kind of get creative in how you.
Technology is so high, right?
Right.
So if you shoot somebody, you go to jail forever. They got this stuff they get blood from somebody with AIDS, and then they shoot you with it.
Oh, so that seems bad.
That's a slow death.
Yeah.
An easy thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Suge Knight could have potentially been the person that gave Easy AIDS.
Just say this happened. Easy would tell somebody this motherfucker poked me with some shit.
Nope.
It just sound like if Easy would have known he got poked, he would have said something. If he didn't know he got poked, then the conspiracy lives on.
You're a father in real life, Cube.
Yes, I am.
How old is Karima your daughter? How old is she now?
She's 20 now.
Okay, she's 20 now, so
Yeah,
she's
20.
bringing young fellas back, I guess, now to meet Dad.
One or two.
And do they meet the friendly, welcoming Cube, or do they meet a slightly more judging Cube when they come in the house?
What you think, Jonathan? I got to put them through the ringer, man. You know, I got a motto. My motto is, whatever you do to her, I'ma do to you. So that'll be nice.
Ice Cube didn't become Ice Cube in a studio. He didn't become Ice Cube on stage. He became Ice Cube the moment he realized the world could take everything from you without warning. He was just 12 years old. One night flipped a switch in his mind that never turned off. And from that point forward, every verse, every controversy, every so-called fall from grace traced back to that single moment. Because the real tragedy of Ice Cube's life isn't what people argue about today. It's what happened long before fame ever found him. And once you understand that, his entire career looks very different. In 1981, O'Shea Jackson was a kid growing up in South Central Los Angeles. Basketball in the street, water balloon fights, normal childhood stuff. Just a few blocks away lived his half-sister, Beverly Jean Brown. She was 22 years old, married, and a young mother, trying to build a life. Her husband, Carl Clifford Brown, wanted desperately to become a police officer. He wanted the badge, the authority, the power, but the LAPD rejected him. That rejection broke something inside him. One night, during a domestic dispute, Carl barricaded their home and took Beverly hostage. Police arrived. Negotiations dragged on. Nothing worked. Then Carl shot and ended Beverly's life. She didn't survive the night. About a month later, Carl took his own life. Their baby son was left without parents, and a 12-year-old boy lost his sister. Not to random street violence, but to obsession, control, and unchecked power. Ice Cube would later say this was the moment his innocence disappeared, the moment he learned that life could be taken for no reason at all. And that lesson never left him. But the damage didn't stop there. People love to reduce South Central Los Angeles to one word: dangerous. But that wasn't the full picture Ice Cube grew up in. His block was full of families, parents, kids everywhere. It wasn't chaos, it was community. People watched out for each other. Kids played outside, life felt normal, until it didn't. Gunshots weren't rare, police didn't feel protective, they felt intrusive. Authority wasn't trusted, it was feared. And after Beverly's death, Ice Cube started noticing things he hadn't before. The way power changed people, the way frustration turned into violence, the way systems failed quietly, and families paid the price. His parents saw it too. They knew South Central could swallow kids whole if they weren't careful, so they made a decision that would change everything. They sent Ice Cube away, and that's when the real awakening started. Every morning, Ice Cube boarded a bus from South Central to the San Fernando Valley. Same city, different universe. In the valley, streets were clean, schools were funded, police smiled instead of harassed. Kids didn't flinch at loud noises. Ice Cube saw it all from the outside. He started asking questions no teenager was supposed to ask yet. Why are these neighborhoods safer? Why do their schools have more? Why does opportunity stop at invisible borders? Those long bus rides became his thinking space. Notebook open, headphones on, thoughts pouring out. Writing wasn't just a hobby anymore, it was survival. By his mid-teens, he wasn't just rhyming, he was documenting reality, processing grief, translating anger into words sharp enough to cut through silence. And one day, sitting in class, he wrote something that would change music forever, but he couldn't do it alone. Ice Cube met Dr. Dre through Dre's cousin, who lived on his block. Dre immediately noticed something different about him. Cube didn't just rap, he said something. His writing became the backbone of what would soon be NWA. When Eazy-E entered the picture, the energy shifted. Eazy didn't want polished radio rap. He wanted the truth, raw, loud, and unapologetic. Together, they created something the industry wasn't ready for. Straight Outta Compton hit like a shockwave, and at the center of it all was a song rooted in personal trauma. Fund the Police wasn't a stunt. It wasn't shock value. It was 7 years of bottled rage finally exploding. The FBI sent warning letters. Radio stations banned the track. Police departments refused to work their shows. But the message spread anyway, because it wasn't fiction, it was lived experience. Still, success came with a price nobody warned him about. Despite writing most of NWA's lyrics, Ice Cube wasn't getting paid fairly. The numbers didn't add up. The contracts were messy. The respect didn't match the contribution. Behind the scenes, tension grew. By 1989, Ice Cube made a decision that shocked the industry. He walked away from the hottest group in music, from fame, from momentum. What followed was ugly: public disses, industry sides being picked, friendships turning into enemies. Then Ice Cube fired back with No Vaseline. It wasn't just a diss track, it was a surgical takedown. And for years, the beef defined his relationship with NWA, especially Eazy-E. Time passed. Anger cooled. They started talking again. Plans were forming. And then reality hit harder than any record ever could. In 1995, Eazy-E revealed he was seriously ill. The announcement stunned everyone. Just weeks later, he was gone. Ice Cube rushed to the hospital. He arrived just after Dr. Dre had left the room. Eazy-E was unconscious. They never spoke again. The reconciliation remained unfinished. For Ice Cube, it was another reminder that life doesn't wait for closure. Another loss layered on top of an old wound. Another brother gone before the story felt complete. And that grief reshaped how he spoke about violence forever. Ice Cube doesn't speak about gun violence from theory. He lived it. His sister's life ended because someone unstable had access to a firearm. No safety nets, no real mental health intervention, no safeguards that could have stopped a moment of rage from becoming permanent loss. For Ice Cube, this wasn't an abstract debate or a political talking point. It was his family. It was his blood. It was a wound that never fully closed. And that's why, for decades, his stance has confused people who expect simple answers to complex problems. Over the years, Ice Cube has taken heat not because he's silent, but because he refuses to pick a side that fits neatly into a box. He doesn't call for extreme bans that ignore the reality of communities where protection isn't guaranteed. He doesn't defend reckless access that turns emotional instability into irreversible tragedy. He criticizes both sides with the same intensity because to him, neither has done enough. That refusal to play along makes people uncomfortable. Ice Cube has even acknowledged something many artists avoid admitting, that his own industry helped glorify weapons, toughness, and violence. Not as an excuse, but as a reality. He said it plainly. You can't celebrate guns in music and movies, then act shocked when the culture absorbs it. That level of self-reflection is rare, especially from someone whose legacy helped shape an entire genre. And honesty like that doesn't get applause. It gets backlash, because discomfort, in modern culture, is often mislabeled as controversy, which brings us to the so-called fall from grace. In later years, Ice Cube became a lightning rod, not because he changed, but because the world around him did. Sound bites replaced nuance, headlines replaced context, clips traveled faster than explanations ever could. When he released the contract with Black America, it wasn't an endorsement, it was a demand. A policy blueprint calling for accountability, economic empowerment, and structural change. But critics rushed to frame it differently. Advocacy was twisted into allegiance. Conversation became accusation. Ice Cube pushed back. He clarified, he explained. But in the digital age, narratives don't wait for truth to catch up. Still, he kept building. Music didn't stop. Films kept coming. The Big Three Basketball League launched and survived setbacks. He toured. He created. He raised a family. Through death hoaxes, misinformation, and endless commentary, Ice Cube never disappeared. Because attention was never the goal. The point was never popularity. It was purpose. Ice Cube didn't fall from grace. He survived something that breaks most people. The real tragedy isn't his controversies. It isn't misunderstood interviews. It isn't public debates or online outrage. The real tragedy happened when he was 12 years old, when the world showed him how fragile life really is, and how quickly systems fail the people they're supposed to protect. Everything after that wasn't a fall. It was a response, and he's been answering that moment ever since. The real tragedy happened in 1981. A sister lost, a childhood stolen, a boy forced to grow up overnight. Instead of letting that pain destroy him, Ice Cube turned it into fuel. He turned grief into voice, anger into art, trauma into truth. And 4 decades later, that 12-year-old boy is still speaking. Not because he wants attention, but because silence never protected anyone he loved. Ice Cube never became a statistic. He became a mirror. And America still doesn't like what it sees.